Unsurprisingly, on December 25th, Christmas Day, there isn't really much to talk about when it comes to hockey news. Which is okay, I'm not gonna go out there and complain about that, I'm always happy with this holiday season after all. But what I wanted to do, in a very low-key and chill commentary, was dive into an article posted on Canucks Army. Now, I'm going to give a big shout-out over to the folks on CA, because they've been doing their Canucks Christmas wish list segments the past day and a bit, and they're all some pretty good reads and some very good thoughts as well. Canucks Christmas wish list articles are going out there and just kind of describing what it is the Canucks could be hoping for in the upcoming little while here, from JT Miller and Elias Pettersson to producing at the same time, to better all-around team defense, to more wins in front of the home fans, and, of course, the article in which I wanted to refer to in this video, posted and written out by David Quadrelli, Canucks Christmas Wish List, a trade for the Flames' Rasmus Andersson. Here it is. It was published yesterday. I'm going to leave a link in the description, so go out there and give Canucks Army their ad views. But Quads goes out there and gives a good pitch for the Calgary Flames right-handed defenseman. And the thing is, when I saw this article, I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. We've talked about that here on the channel before. It's one that if I were in charge, I would definitely want to see the Canucks make. But then I really thought about it, and I was like, really, huh? The Calgary Flames have been on kind of a heater lately. Kind of. They've been winning and losing games here and there, but they've been pretty okay in the NHL standings this season. It would not be unreasonable to assume that the Flames would be maybe in some sort of a hunt for a wildcard spot or something of that nature. Right now, the Calgary Flames are barely on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. They've got one fewer point than the second wildcard team, the Dallas Stars, although they do have one more game played than the Dallas Stars. They're right in the mix here, and a lot of people, myself included, didn't really expect that out of the Calgary Flames this season, so to see them have the really hot start they did and then start stringing together a few more wins and losses here and there, it's been quite the journey. So ultimately, I do think that a lot of what Calgary does on the trade market this season really depends on what their own vision is for the team in the short term and what they eventually do in January and February. If they fall out of the playoffs completely, then okay, you can probably see some guys get sent on their way out, maybe some guys get traded, maybe some extra value is added with the younger guys, who really knows? But if the Calgary Flames are in the first wildcard spot by the end of January, and they continue that momentum into March and the trade deadline, then I don't know if any trade like this is even going to have a chance to go down. And especially when you think about what the Flames did earlier on in the season, they were very good to start out the year. This Calgary team is not afraid to pull the trigger on trades early. We saw them do exactly that with Nikita Zadorov and Elias Lindholm last year, to the Vancouver Canucks. So there is reason for me to believe personally that if Patrik Allvin had a trade opportunity presented on his table, if there was a chance to get a trade done earlier on, it would have been done, especially if it would have been for the right price. Nikita Zadorov went for a draft pick. Andrei Kuzmenko was sent out because they needed to send him out, along with some other assets for Lindholm. If there's a trade to be made, there's probably a trade that would have been done. But right now, it doesn't seem like that could have happened, so we are going to be diving into Rasmus Andersson and his profile in more of a hypothetical scenario. Because right now, Rasmus Andersson is signed on till the end of 25-26, making $4.5 million a year at 28 years old. 6'1", 203, right-handed D-man, and this season he is on pace for 36 points on the year. Not the best he's ever had. He had a 50-point season back in 2021-2022, but Rasmus Andersson has been a very solid two-way defensively minded defenseman who can produce significant points as well. He moves the puck well, he's a smooth skater, and he brings a lot of stability to the back end. Stability that no other Canucks right-handed defenseman can provide, other than, I guess you could say, Phil Hronek, even though I would probably say that Hronek is more offensive and less defensively responsible. Not a knock on Hronek, just kind of talking about what makes Andersson so good. Let's go back over onto the article on Canucks Army and read what David Quadrelli has to say. If he's available, Andersson will be cream of the crop when it comes to top 4 D-men trade options ahead of the March 7th trade deadline. Andersson is a bona fide top-pairing defenseman and is owed just $4.5 million both this year and next before he becomes a UFA. He's a smooth skater and has phenomenal puck-moving ability. As you can guess, those two elements to his game make him a phenomenal fit for the Canucks. There are some people who believe the Canucks are just one or two pieces away from being a contender, while others believe it's going to take more. The people in the latter camp would probably not love the idea of giving up the boatload of assets it would take for the Canucks to actually execute a trade for Andersson, and that's a perfectly fine opinion to have. At some point, though, the acquisition cost may be just too high. And that, I think, is another big discussion, too. If the Calgary Flames were to get rid of Rasmus Andersson, you know they definitely want one of the Canucks' top prospects in exchange, either a Yakemchuk or a Tom Willander. Honestly, if you trade away Willander for a guy like Andersson, you're kind of getting an equal trade there. Like, obviously the years are displaced. There's some that have a ceiling for Willander as high as a Charlie McAvoy, for example, and I would say that McAvoy is better than Rasmus Andersson. But the point is, Rasmus Andersson is good now. Charlie McAvoy 2.0 Tom Willander is not going to be good until maybe 2027? 2028? Maybe he makes the league at the early stages of his career in 2024 or 2025, but he's not going to be the best guy right away. Two-way defensemen that really round themselves out on both sides of the ice don't really become their best until a lot later on. For offensive guys like Lane Hudson or Quinn Hughes, it's very easy to see point production immediately translate and value to be presented on the roster immediately. But Tom Willander is not Quinn Hughes. He's not that offensive dynamo that totally changes the dynamics of whatever offensive system is in front of him. He just kind of does everything well. And that kind of profile doesn't usually translate to the National Hockey League at its peak right away. So, if you trade away Tom Willander, for example, and you get Rasmus Andersson, you're getting that kind of a defenseman right now, even though Tom Willander could debatably be better than Rasmus Andersson by the time he is in his prime. But when that happens, who knows if the Canucks are still going to be in their competitive window. So, ultimately, there are a lot of folks that really do believe in Willander, and I think it's been a talking point as well in Sex 50, where fans are saying, hey, I don't want to trade this guy, he's going to be an immediate game breaker, he's going to come into the team in, let's just say, March or April, and then he's going to have this super huge impact. Maybe, just in my personal opinion, I feel like those fans are a little bit overhyped on what Tom Willander could bring. I don't think he should be seen as the next savior of the franchise, but he is a trade chip right now. And I only say that right now because he's not on the team right now. So, if you wanted to trade away a guy like Willander or a Yakemchuk for a top defenseman, Rasmus Andersson's on the boat here. He's a potential guy. Let's go out there and read some of the other talking points that Quads goes out there and discusses. He talks about the same wild card standings race that we had talked about before, but Santa doesn't care about acquisition costs, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't keep an eye on the NHL standings. This is a wish list series, damn it, and today's wish is for Andersson to be a Canuck. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better stylistic fit for this Canucks blue line than Andersson. So many of Vancouver's issues this season have stemmed from their defense not being able to break the puck out with poise. I'm a firm believer that in hockey, everything starts from the back end, especially in the playoffs when teams are forechecking like their lives depend on it. If the defense can cleanly exit the D-zone with a crisp pass, or, as is often the case with Quinn Hughes, skating the puck out all on their own, the forwards get the puck sooner, the opposition is immediately on their heels, and your chances of creating off the rush generally increase. And that has been one of the bigger problems for Vancouver this season. Their on-the-rush offense has really sucked, and especially compared to last year, we know that they're just not bringing it all together in the ways that they could be. And so for Rasmus Andersson, that's what Quads brings up here as to one of the biggest reasons why he would help out this team. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below when it comes to this Canucks wish list series. What are your thoughts on the idea of Vancouver acquiring Rasmus Andersson? Do you think it's the trade that works? And do you think Patrick Allvin should be trying this out here, seeing if there's a trade available, and what prospect do you think gets the deal done? If it is Tom Willander, do you go with Willander and, let's say, a roster player, Willander and somebody else, or just Willander? Does that work in your opinion? Anton Yakemchuk, is he a name that you explore in this sort of a trade idea as well? Let me know in the comment section below all your opinions about this potential move. Article is going to be linked in the description as always. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.